Hey, SamMeeBee here. Today's January 11th. I do apologize. You haven't seen us in a while, but hey, guess what? We're back. Discuss the NFL season a little bit, recap it, and talk the NFL playoffs. So, without further ado, let me introduce Danny Stone. Hey, you got a new sweater? What's going on there?
Hey, thanks for having me. This was a gift. We're doing this. We're doing it live. This is a gift from a dear family friend. New Rams hoodie. Excited to be rocking it. Was going to save it for Sunday, but thought I'd bring the energy. Try to bring that noise today on a Thursday, and can't wait. We're waiting all week for Sunday night, baby. I can't wait for some Rams football, and I'm going to be wearing this hoodie unless it's really warm out, which it won't be here. So
I love it. I got my throwback Jared Goff jersey. It's a Rams one though, so it should be interesting. So,
it's going to be
we
big
are going
time.
to talk. Well, what was that?
I just said it's going to be big time. It's going to be a big
Oof,
game.
can't wait. We got a lot to talk about that game in particular because, as you know, we're both Rams fans. You can probably tell, but we're gonna do a quick recap of the season, not too long because we're all ready for the playoffs. But Danny Stone and I had a couple videos before the season started, giving out some predictions. We both gave out division winners. Danny Stone had four right. I only had two. We both picked the Chiefs, but Danny Stone had the Bills, the Lions, and the Niners. I had the Ravens. So those are the ones
Ah,
we got right. So you had Pittsburgh. Actually, they did pretty good. So
They did all right. I'm surprised that I didn't take the Buccaneers in the NFC South. I must have went with the Saints or
yeah, we
something.
both went the Saints. What's
Foolish.
interesting to me is the NFC East. I don't know if you heard the stat. I think it was 18 or 19 years seasons in a row. There's a different winner. There's never been a repeat winner.
That's right. That's
We
right.
should
I
have we
have
should
heard
have
that.
known. We should have not
Yeah,
taken the Eagles.
well, and it's hindsight. Me saying I can't believe I didn't take Tampa Bay. I mean, I think at the time I thought Derek Carr and the Saints were the most complete team, and maybe some would say they are. But hey, Tampa Bay played well and they showed out and did just
Mhm.
enough to win the division. So we'll see. That Monday night game will be interesting. Eagles Buccaneers.
No, I mean I wouldn't say that you were wrong because my wrong pick for the year. I thought the Saints would run away with this division, win 10 games, and then I thought the Falcons would be a close second. So I had the Falcons or Buccaneers finishing third. So for you to be mad at yourself, I was thinking they were third anyway.
Yeah,
Um, Another
fair enough.
surprise.
And we both were wrong about Jacksonville.
That's what I was about to say. Another surprise. We agreed on four picks: the Chiefs, the Eagles, the Saints, and then Jacksonville. As I would say, is we are way off. And then I think we might have temporarily
A
lost
lot
you.
of
Still
people are
there?
like,
Okay. Yeah,
no, I am. Can you hear me? Yeah.
I can hear you. You're just glitching a little bit for the perks of doing it
All
live,
right.
right?
Well, that's all right. Blurry face looks great. We'll roll with it.
That's all right. You got a golden voice. That's all we want to hear from you, right?
As long as you can hear me.
Yeah, I can hear you, and I see the doggo.
All right.
So we're not gonna
That's
dive
right.
too deep into
Then we'll
it.
march.
You had most improved team Chicago at Denver. I don't know what makes it the most
That
improved
was,
because Chicago finished 7-10 or something, so they did pretty good. But
I, I guess, thank you for saying that because my thought was they should be able to win 6 games. They only won 3 games. I thought they'd double their win total. But the most improved team, I mean, our own Rams are probably in running for that from a year to year thing. And then Houston, I mean,
mhm.
wow. But no, I appreciate you saying that. Honestly, we both kind of were wrong about what we thought about Chicago and Denver. We thought they could.
Mhm.
You thought they could fight for their division. I wasn't so keen on that. Chicago, I thought Justin Fields would really lead that team to something special, but it ended up being Jordan Love and Jared Goff instead.
Yeah, no, nice little segue because we did make some preseason picks for award winners. I had for Rookie of the Year, Jameer Gibbs. You had Bijan. I didn't
Yep.
realize Montgomery's be so involved. As Rams fans, obviously we want Puka to get it, but I think with CJ Stroud taking him and winning the division, I think he should win it. I don't know how you feel about that.
No, I can't disagree. I mean, I'm fine if Puka Nakua wins it. I won't be offended, but I do think considering like how CJ Stroud has completely turned that franchise around, really impressive. But I don't want to overlook what Puka Nakua has done either. But it really is impressive. CJ Stroud being a quarterback and everything. And I'll tell you what, my Bijan Robinson pick, I think he is that guy that can be going forward an offensive player of the year. But I don't think this is a hot take to say like he really wasn't utilized that much, and maybe there's
Mhm.
reason for that. But it was kind of odd. And Arthur Smith, head coach of the Falcons, ends up losing his job. So there you go. I don't know.
Yeah, I mean, a couple of things I want to point out. I think the AFC South is going to be in good hands, fun to watch with Anthony Richardson. Trevor Lawrence is still
Yep.
young. CJ Stroud, and you brought up Arthur Smith getting fired. I thought it was interesting. I wonder if that had anything to do with it because his lack of utilization. He was on my fantasy team. There was a couple of games where it's like, did they forget he's on the team?
Right.
Um,
And
I think
Tyler Algier is a nice player.
he
The
did,
other
and
running.
I think when we gave out the picks, I mentioned how the favorite historically doesn't win the Rookie of the Year, so I was avoiding Bijan for that reason. I didn't wish any ill will, but I'm like, they don't run it, so. Um, I texted you. I
Yeah. No,
said,
you were without.
I said the winner of next year's Rookie of the Year will be whoever the Rams draft in the 5th round because they got the last 2 years Kyron Williams and then Puka Nacua, so they're good in the 5th round.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, what Kyron Williams is doing in
I think you're
his
breaking
second,
up.
I wrote an article, but I didn't know it would be like this. I had no idea.
Yeah, I'm happy out. Sorry, I think you were cutting out again. That's why I accidentally jumped in. But yeah, 'cause I know like I was upset Cam Akers
Oh,
left, but Kyron fit in pretty good.
no, Kyron Williams is like one of the top running backs in the league right now. That can change, but I mean, it's been really something to watch.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I think the only thing we'll talk about you were pretty close with your offensive player of the year. You had Justin Jefferson or Tyreek, so you gave out two. I think Tyreek can win it. I was definitely way off with Chris Olave, and then defensive player of the year, you picked Max Crosby, and I picked T.J. Watt. So I think those two had a good year. I think we're good with that.
They did have a good year. I'm not sure who it'll go to. I'm pretty sure offensive player of the year will go to Christian McCaffrey, though. I don't think that's that
Oh yeah, that's
crazy.
true. So another preseason thing we did, we gave out our Super Bowl bets. I don't know if you remember who you picked. For my serious one, I had Jets, Eagles. That ain't happening. My fun pick was Seattle and
No.
Ravens. That ain't happening. But hey, I can see Baltimore going, so that was a good take there.
Yep.
Because you had what I think Chiefs, Eagles, which is still doable, and then your fun one. I think you said the
It's
Rams.
doable, but not likely. I don't remember on one.
Yeah, I don't remember either. We'll have to look that
Was my
up.
fun when the Rams? It probably was. I was like, yeah. I probably was like, hey, you know what's fun? The Rams being there.
Yeah. Also preseason, I gave out three bets. I went 2-1. I gave under Arizona 3.5 wins. They had 4, so I just missed that. I had Cincinnati under 10.5 wins. They only had 9, so that was easy, especially with Burrow being hurt. The biggest one, though, if you remember, was
Yeah.
total points the whole season. I know you've been waiting all year to hear this stat. So the number was over under 12,000. I'm sorry, yeah, 12,495.5, and I had the under. The final total was 11,842, so it was under by 653
Nice
points.
job.
Not even close.
Wow.
So if you broke
Nice
down,
job.
yeah, if you broke down the numbers, the 12,495, divide that by 18, because there's 18 weeks, even though there's only 17 games, the average was around 657 a week, which means we won by a full week. Yeah, the average per game 272 would have been 45 and 40, almost 46. So it's 45.9. So yeah, that was an easy win. So mark that for next year.
Nice job, Sammy B. I'm not really much of a betting man, but I thought that was a good bet when you told me about it. Because you had numbers to back it. It was a strong bet.
Yeah, so I'm interested to see what it is next year. If it's just around that high, I'm going under and probably increasing my unit size. So before we dive
Over
in,
on the Rams was a good bet too. The
yeah,
win total for the Rams, that was a good bet. I think you took the over, and you cleared that a long time ago.
yeah, I think we did a separate video doing the Rams schedule, and I did put money on Rams over 6.5 and finished with 10. So that was easy.
I think we both had them going 9-8, which
Mhm.
not a bad take. I mean, 10-7's fine, but looking at the way the Niners and Rams played, and I'm a Rams fan, but I don't know if the Rams beat the Niners if they use their starters all 4 quarters. But a win's a win, and I'm really
Mhm.
thrilled the Rams went 10-7. But I guess my point being, we both had them having a winning season, which a lot of people didn't. I didn't know if they'd make the playoffs because I didn't know if 9-8 would get in. but 10-7 sure as heck did. So,
Yeah.
wow. I mean, what a job Sean McVay and Les Snead and the players, the players, the team have done.
Yeah. So before we break down the Rams, the other playoff games, I want to know your thoughts on the Peacock exclusive games. If everyone
Yeah.
remembers, there was the Chargers Bills, and then Saturday night this week, the Chiefs host Miami. That's Peacock exclusive. Do you have Peacock? Are you gonna be watching this game?
If I can find a way to watch it, above board, of course I'll watch it. I'm not a, I'd like to watch it if I can. I will, I suppose. But I guess it's big money for them. It's an overseas market. It's a little frustrating for people that want to watch these games. But streaming's probably the future. Um,
Mm-hmm.
it's frustrating, but I can't sit here and say I don't get it. I do wonder if they're making the money they thought they would, which I would assume they are. But I feel like putting it on TV would have been a lot of money too. So obviously they know something I don't.
Yeah. Well,
Anyways, it is what it is, I guess, is all I'm trying to say.
I didn't watch the game. If I remember, I think it was either the whole fourth quarter or the last 5 minutes, and then they didn't have any commercials. So how are they making their money if they don't have commercials?
Just the subscriptions I get. And then that's what I heard today, I think, on the Jim Rome show, but I just caught the tail end of it getting in my car. But I think he pointed out there's an overseas market. But the big thing is the NFL is too calculated to be doing something that isn't worth their time. Granted, businesses make mistakes, so maybe I shouldn't say that, but I have a feeling they know what they're doing on this one. Uh, I had Red Zone. I guess I should cancel my NFL Plus unless there's anything else I'm going to use it for. Maybe it gives me some playoff games. I'm not sure, but I had Red Zone all year through NFL Plus. I thought that was really neat. Something I'll probably use again. I would say Red Zone's so much fun.
I wonder if NFL would take a hit if it doesn't do well with numbers. I think it's more on Peacock and losing viewership. I did look up the numbers.
Yeah.
Peacock paid 110 million for the rights to air this one playoff game, which is a lot.
Wow.
In that game, it was like week 15 or whatever. Bills, Chargers. The average viewership was 7.3 million. Earlier in the day, there was another game on NBC. Anyone can watch it on regular TV. Pittsburgh, which wasn't exciting, versus Cincinnati with the backup quarterback. That averaged 14.29 million. So you got half the viewers for Sunday night or Saturday night compared to the earlier game.
Wow. Yeah. I mean, time will tell if that grows or not. But to your point, and maybe that's what it's all about. The NFL got their bag, so that's what matters. But whatever. It's Chiefs, Miami. I'm expecting the Chiefs. I do think what's kind of about this weekend of playoffs. I think all these games, every one of them.
Yeah, I'll pull them up here. We got the matchups in order. Can we just talk about how scripted the NFL is? You got Deshaun Watson's new team versus old team. Tyreek Hill going back to KC.
Yep.
Mike McCarthy going against his former team. Obviously, everyone knows the story about McVay, Goff, Stafford, Lions. So 4 games here, so scripted. But hey, that's what we're here, breaking them down, right?
Yeah.
So
I'm here for it.
Yeah, so this is the
I'm thrilled.
matchup.
I'm excited. It's really nice to have the Rams back in the playoffs.
Yeah, I'm excited for it. So yeah, I just kind of threw this together before we started. So we'll kind of go through it. I just want to see how you're feeling. We definitely didn't talk about it. So I'm curious and see how you're feeling and how I'm feeling. So we'll start this first game. We got Cleveland versus Houston. Now I'm trying to think. I think Cleveland's the favorite, right? Let me pull that up. Yeah, Cleveland's favorite about 2.5, depending on the sports book. Who are you feeling for this game?
I'll do it. I'll take the Browns. I think, I'm not in any position to say this, but I'm going to say it anyways. D'Amico Ryans, great job. But I saw Ryans make a comment that playoff games aren't any different than regular games. And I believe he's a former player, so he has more basis to say that than I do. But I kind of feel like that's him just trying to pump his team up. And I think they're going to find out the playoff atmosphere is different than the regular atmosphere. I think it's different just as a fan, but maybe it's different for a player. It probably is just person to person, but I mean, I hear other coaches say, and players say the playoffs are more intense. So I guess I'm torn. Point being, I think the Browns have been there before. They've beaten the Steelers in the playoffs with Baker Mayfield a couple years ago. Joe Flacco is playing great. I'm going to pick the Browns, but I would not be totally surprised if they win this game. And if it's just more credit to the coaching job that Ryans is doing, and I have no business, saying how he should be talking to his players, which is true. So it's hard not to like both teams. And the Deshaun Watson narrative is, it's scripted for sure.
All right. Well, before I give you, so I have some numbers, but the thing is, these numbers kind of correlate with the next game. So before I give them, I want to hear your take on the next game. Then I'll give you a take on both games Saturday. Who are you feeling for the Dolphins, who are underdog going to Kansas City?
Chiefs, the Kansas City Chiefs. It's going to be really cold, and I think it may. And the Chiefs, and but we go off for 1,000,000 yards.
So I think, unfortunately, you're cutting out a little bit more. It sounds like you're taking the Chiefs, but you wouldn't be surprised with Miami, right? Because they have Tyreek, who is ungodly good. Not me.
Yes, sir.
So some stats I was looking at. In the last 5 years, the quarterback with the higher yards per completion wins the playoff game about 70% of the time. Also, first-time quarterbacks are 27 and 50 since 2002. And if you take out the times where it's a first-time quarterback versus a first-time quarterback, the first-time quarterback is 22, 38, and 1 against the spread. So they only cover the spread 36% of the time. So that being said, even though Joe Flacco only played in 5 games, he has a better yards per completion, and you factor in with C.J. Stroud being a first-timer, I'm taking Cleveland for that. And I carry that over to Miami. Okay. This is Tua's first game in the playoffs. Last year was the backup, if you remember, White, because Tua was hurt. So it's Tua's first game. And then I looked it up. You brought up the cold, yes. So it's projected to be around 9 degrees, under 40 degrees last 10 games. Kansas City 9-1, Dolphins 0-10, Tua's 0-4 in that time. I called this my SamMeeBee guarantee. I already have the Chiefs -4 in this game.
Wow.
Mm-hmm. So I think we might have lost you again there.
So you sure.
So there, I think we're losing you. Must have been a bad connection today. So I heard your wow, but I didn't hear what your thoughts were on that take.
Can you hear me now?
I can hear you now, yes.
You can hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I think that's a fine take. You think they're going to win by more than a field goal, which I can dig. I'm excited. I was just saying I'm really excited for playoff football. I mean, I'm excited to talk a little Rams-Lions with you. These other games, I'll give you my picks, but it doesn't really matter to me as much who wins per se. But it looks like we're in alignment so far. We're both taking the Browns, and we both took the Chiefs.
Yeah, I feel like we're agreeing on most of these picks, but I said that before. So we'll kind of gloss over next couple then, because Buffalo, I can't believe Pittsburgh's in. 10-point underdog. I'm just taking Buffalo.
I think we're going to disagree here.
Really? You're taking Pittsburgh?
Oh, I got kicked again.
Yeah, I think I got you now. So as you're coming back, I mean, Mason Rudolph has only played 3 games, and it goes back to what I said. He's a first-time quarterback. He's the third one. Well, no, actually, there's 4, but yeah, I'm going against a first-time quarterback. Oh, I think we lost Danny Stone briefly. Maybe he might just be kicking out, logging out, man back in. We'll give him a couple seconds. We got some juicy news coming up about some of these other playoff games. But yeah, I was just looking it up. Chiefs are -4.5, so better lock it in. There
Oh,
you are. See you now.
now I'm back. I got kicked again.
Although I can't hear you. Let me see. Oh, okay. I think I got you now.
Now you can hear me?
Yeah. Did you log out and back in?
Yeah. It kicked me out again. I tell
Dang
you
it.
what.
All right, so we'll go back real quick. I have the Bills and then Mason Rudolph. This is his first playoff game, and you're going. Are you taking the Steelers?
I am, sir. I'm going to take the
Woo!
Steelers. I could be wrong, but I'm going to
Man.
take the Steelers.
Battle Lake Erie, huh? Oh no, that's
Sure.
they're not there. That's the other team. So
Yeah,
wow.
but close enough.
Yeah. All right, we got
Candidly, yeah.
the Packers, also a first time quarterback going against the Cowboys. Um, I think the Packers can cover this spread, but I don't know if they can win. Cowboys are pretty good at home. I think they're undefeated at home, so I'm taking the Cowboys here.
I'm torn because I wouldn't be shocked at all if the Packers won, but I'm going to take Dallas. I think they're a bit more complete team, but
Mhm.
yeah, maybe it's corny. I just really think all these teams, these are really good matchups. I mean, we'll find out when we find out, and maybe there will be a blowout, but I think these are going to be tight games. Maybe the Bills blow out the Steelers because they don't have TJ Watt, but I don't know. We've seen Josh
Mhm.
Allen kind of have some real bad games this year, and which Josh Allen's going to show up. And as far as the Cowboys go, they're really good at home, so I think they'll be all right in this one. But
Mhm.
golly, you just never know. Jordan Love's looked really good.
Well, a couple things. I thought Josh Allen was trying to lose that game last week. If you watch that, I'm
Yeah.
like, all these turnovers. Does he even want? Because I had money on the Bills covering. I'm like, come on, just win the game.
What are we doing
Um,
here?
I
Yeah,
mean, as a fan, I want the Packers to win because of those 7 seeds, so they would go in the Niners. So that's why I want the Packers to win.
sure.
And I remember I was watching. I think it was a Monday night game. It was a doubleheader. You also had the Dolphins Titans going on. They were talking about how Jordan Love is one of the most inaccurate quarterbacks, and sure enough, when you look at his throws, his receivers are making incredible catches because his passes are all over the place. So he needs a receiver like Megatron. I feel like we're going to talk heavily about the Rams Lions, so we'll say that for last. So we got the Monday night Philadelphia. I was kind of surprised this was a Monday night game. I'd rather watch like Cleveland Houston, but anyway, Philadelphia, who kind of stumbled down the track going to Tampa. Who are you feeling for this game?
I am gonna go ahead and take the Philadelphia Eagles, but if Mike Evans wants to like blow up the Eagles defense and catch a few deep shots, but I think that the Buccaneers kind of limped into the playoffs. They beat Carolina. Baker Mayfield is seems hurt to me. Um, and I'm gonna take the Eagles. I think they'll I'm expecting the Eagles to gut it out, but maybe Rashad White for the Buccaneers carries the load, and maybe AJ Brown's hurt and Devontae Smith's hurt, and the Eagles talk about limp. Both these teams to me have kind of limped into the playoffs.
Yeah, Philly lost what 6 of the last 7, so I'm going back to
Yeah,
that.
and then the Bucks get in just barely in what might be the worst division in the NFL. But and I don't
Yeah.
want to disrespect them, and that sounds disrespectful, but uh, I don't know. I don't think that they can say they've closed. They would have liked to have beaten the Saints the second to last week, and
Mhm.
they didn't. So
I mean, it's not too disrespectful. It always has to be a worse division. I think going into the season, I'm trying to think off the top of my head. I almost thought AFC South with the Colts and Titans, but yeah, they sound pretty strong because um, it's not a bad thing to say because that Atlanta almost won the division at 8-9. That was possible, but it didn't play out because the Buccaneers won the last game, but it almost
yep,
happened. I'm going back to that
yep.
stat I said earlier with the quarterback with the higher passing yards per completion wins 70% of the time. I'm actually going to go take Tampa in this one.
Okay.
Um, we'll see
I
about
don't
that.
blame you. Mike Evans is a stud. Chris Godwin's really, I mean, they have the talent to
Mhm.
do it.
And
And
Baker
the
wants to come
Eagles
back.
look exposed.
If they know what's good for them, they would come out in the creamsicles, with the throwbacks.
Yeah.
And I mean,
Yeah.
obviously, Niners, Ravens, deservingly so. 1 seed, got the bye, so we'll see how that goes. But we're talking
Absolutely.
round one. the super wild card weekend. So now we're down to the last game.
This is what I want to talk about.
The Rams of Los Angeles travel to the
Yes.
Lions of Detroit.
Let's do this. Roar.
The
Go
Battle of the
Rams.
Dome. That place will be rocking.
Yes.
In a dome. I feel like every stadium should have a dome. I think these snow games are silly.
I like them, but
I want to
yes.
fly to Detroit and watch this game. I'm assuming
Can
we're
you
both
imagine?
taking the Rams. I'm feeling really good about the Rams.
Me too.
I'll start with this one. As you probably know, you've probably seen a stat somewhere. 6 straight years in the NFC, the 6 seed has been a 3 seed. We're going to make it 7 in a row. This is going to be 7 in a row. 7 straight playoffs, 6 seed beats a 3 seed. I'm calling it.
Streaks are made to be broken, but I think the Lions have a lot more pressure. I think I did an article yesterday and I wrote about the Sean McVay interview, and he totally downplayed having any type of advantage having coached Goff, which I think he does have an advantage having coached Goff. The Lions are a really good team. I could see Aiden Hutchinson getting at Matthew Stafford and even Jamison Williams catching some deep balls because the Rams secondary has been exposed at times.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know. Overall, I have this feeling that the Rams are going to beat the Lions, and it's going to be a real bummer for Lions fans. But the good news is, if the Lions win, no hate in my heart. I hope they win the whole thing if they beat the Rams. I got no problem with the Lions.
Yeah, honestly, if the Lions were to win, I think that's probably a team I'd root for. I'd be scared to see what happens if it's Lions Browns Super Bowl.
That would be awesome. I feel like people have made jokes that would be the apocalypse and things like that. I'm here for it. I'm here for whatever it's going to be. Obviously, as long as the Rams are in it, I do have a team in it, so I'll be rooting for them. But there's a lot of other teams that are probably deserving if they can get there. So we'll see what happens. Amon-Ra St. Brown's going to be a real tough defend. And the Lions are a complete team. I mean, here's an area that I think really is problematic for the Rams is their special teams. I mean, kicking is iffy at best. Their punt and kick return units are seemingly not the greatest. Sorry. Well, punt and kick return, yeah, but well, on both sides of it, whether they're returning or kicking off or punting, they really. Boy, I don't know, Sammy B. That part of their game really makes me nervous.
I keep telling everyone, their defense, their good run defense, pass defense is okay. Offense is looking great, but that special teams, it's important, and it is scary. I hold my breath every time he kicks it. Makes me wonder how many times will McVay go for it on 4th down just because of his kicking situation.
Yeah.
Will he go for a 2-point conversion instead of a tie? Because the Rams missed, was it 15, maybe 16, I think, now, combined extra points and field goals between 2 different kickers. It's sad.
Is that true?
Wow. Yeah, by a long shot.
That's a bad stat. So that makes me nervous. I guess I'm sitting over here very confident about the Rams, but I should keep myself in check because they've got some real holes in special teams in particular. But, Sammy Laporta, the breakout rookie tight end Lions, he kind of got banged up last week. It's unclear if he'll be playing or not. That could be a big deal because I think the Rams have, whether it was Dallas Goedert or even Isaiah Likely with the Ravens, feel like the Rams have struggled with some talented tight ends this year, and I would say Sam Laporta is one of those. So we'll see what happens. I think very exciting.
I mean, I'm feeling pretty good about the Rams' chances. I think. There you are. I see you. Your bar's a little red. Now it's orange. It could go all the way. Go to green.
Now it's green. It's
almost.
This is crazy.
Crazy.
Thanks for putting up with me, Sammy B.
Oh, thanks. Yeah.
It's crazy.
I forgot what I was gonna say now. Oh, I think I remember. I think there was the potential. The potential ban of Stafford jerseys. I don't know how true that really is. I mean, I think Stafford's going to come out juiced. He's going over 300 yards. He shall return. And he's coming back. with the vengeance. All right. You
How
good?
many points are they going to win by?
At least 3. I have Rams minus 2.5. That's an alternate spread. I think it's what plus 140, something like that. So I need them to
Gotcha.
win by at least 3. But in reality, like I said, I got Stafford cooking over 300 yards, Kyron Williams touchdown. I'm trying to think if it's going
What's
to be
Puka
Cooper
do?
Cup or Puka or Nakua. Maybe Tyler Higbee. Maybe they'll send a lineman out, Steve Avila. You know, make sure he reports eligible.
Yeah,
Um,
that would be hilarious, dude. If they did something like that, that would
what
be
do what do I think the final
incredible.
score would be? What do you think the final score would be?
I think Mike Florio and Chris Sims said today 30-27. 27-20 LA. They have a nice 2-score lead. Jared Goff takes the Lions down the field. They make it 27-20, but it's not enough, and the Rams just knee it out, win the game, over.
Mm-hmm. I know they were on a streak there, scoring what was it, at least 28 for a while. Let's see.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, coming out of the bye, whatever, they won 37, 36, 31, 28, 30, 26. So I might see them getting, I'm going to give them 31 points. 30,
There
31.
you
I don't
go.
remember how that works. I guess 28. Well, I'm trying to think. The kickers are missing some extra points.
I know. I am a little nervous, man. I'm a little like as excited as I am. If
Hey, you know what? I'm confident. I'm going to say 30-20
if the
because St. Brown is hard to
there's
stop.
one,
I will give them that. St. Brown is good. Um,
he's
I
real.
mean, some sports books have combined passing yards. That might be something I would look at. I think I can see Goff getting some good amount of pass yards. So, and you were talking about McVay earlier in a press conference how he downplayed having an advantage. I also heard Aaron Donald. They're like, "Oh, do you think you know him?" He's like, "No, he's grown as a player, and it's only been a couple of seasons." What you talking about? You know him, you know. And he did
Yeah,
say he's like, "Well, he's not really a mobile quarterback." I'm like, "Yeah, we all know that."
right.
So,
And let watch Goff like galloping around, like just to shock the world. No, I expect him to get after him, and I guess I wrote an article on this. You might think this is interesting, you might not. I'll try to keep it brief. But I wrote an article about how the Lions went into Week 18 and played all their starters, and the Rams went into Week 18 and rested some key players. And I'll be curious if that has any impact on the game at all.
no, I'm glad you said that because it reminded me how the Lions started everyone and they played against a backup quarterback, third string
Yes.
quarterback Nick Mullins. So earlier
Yeah.
when I talked about Stafford juiced up getting yards, Nick Mullins played the Lions 2 of the last 3 weeks and combined for over 700 passing yards. So how are you gonna
Yeah.
let Nick Mullins do that to you? So I think Austin or Stafford's in good hands.
And it's funny because I would say, like, well, Nick Mullins has two really good receivers. Yeah, I think the Rams do too.
Yeah.
So, I'm not saying they're Justin Jefferson and Jordan Addison, but I mean, wow, Puka Nakua had a better year than Jordan Addison. Although I think Jordan Addison is incredible. I mean, wow, what a good player. But Puka Nakua had the best received rookie, maybe the best receiving season
Mhm.
in the league, second to Tyreek Hill, maybe.
Mhm.
If I'm not thinking of somebody, I apologize. But yeah, like wow. I mean, what they the Rams have the weapons, but the Lions do have a pretty good defense. And if they can kind of get after Stafford early and often, cause confusion for the Rams offensive line, I mean, it can be a long day for LA. As talented as the Rams offense is, I mean, I've watched a couple games with you, and I know it was earlier in
Mhm.
the season, but it happened this year too, late in the season too. I mean, they allowed the Giants to get back into the game, and some of that's
Mhm.
the special teams. They allowed the Saints to get back into the game, and some of that's the special teams. I know, but some of that also is the offense for stretches not doing anything, and that worries me.
Oh yeah. I looked up real quick. So Puka Nakua was fourth overall in receiving yards. So we know Tyreek was number one. Do you know who 2 and 3 were? Don't have to be in order.
Diggs,
No, Diggs wasn't even top 20. All right, he
he
was
had a bet.
13. He
So
was
Diggs had a
13.
real down year. Well, CeeDee Lamb, I guess
Yep,
how could I
Dede.
forget CeeDee Lamb, who maybe had CeeDee Lamb actually might have had a better season than
Yep.
Tyreek Hill.
CeeDee Lamb
And
was
then
number 2 in pass yards. He was 50 yards behind
AJ
Tyreek.
is Brown number 3.
No, AJ Brown is 5 after Puka. Real quick with CeeDee Lamb, he had about 16 more catches than Tyreek, but 50 less yards.
Wow.
So here's a hint. It's not going to be a helpful hint. This player had the same amount of catches as Tyreek Hill at 119.
Wow. I'm trying to
So
think.
CeeDee Lamb had the most catches,
It wasn't
135.
Amon Ra, was it?
Yep, Amon Ra. Amon Ra. So the Detroit Lion
Okay.
receiver,
I
number
was just
3.
going through all my fantasy rosters. He helped me win a fantasy championship. Big on Ross St. Brown. He's special, man. I'm glad that we're kind of talking about him specifically because I was thinking today, not today, excuse me, but within like this week, I want to say, and I wanted to bring this up on the show. Like you could argue that he's a top 5 wide receiver, and there it is. He's number 4 on that list of receiving yards. Like he's definitely a top 15, top 10, maybe top 5. Like he's a really special player, and Jared Goff is a good quarterback for him.
Yeah, a lot of times in the betting world, you find a player, the prop that's hitting, and you just ride it till it doesn't hit. So St. Brown was one. I was taking his over yards a lot, even to score a touchdown before it got to be too high. Like Kyron Williams to score Sunday night, I think it's minus 165, so it's a little too juiced. But I'm going to close out this top receiving, and I mean we're not going to go through all of them, but it's a couple highlights that surprised me. Number 8, Nico Collins, definitely kudos to the good year that Stroud had. Mike Evans, 9th, that he got 1,000 yards again. I forgot what the number is, but he's had 1,000 yards.
Every year he's been in the NFL, he's had 1,000 receiving yards.
And number 7 was a San Francisco receiver, not the one I would think. It was Brandon Ayuk. So
Brandon Ayuk. Was it Ayuk?
Yeah. If I remember, Deebo Samuel was the 3rd leading receiver on his team because Kittle was 2nd. Deebo didn't even break 900 yards.
Where's Christian McCaffrey in that?
He didn't get a lot of receiving yards.
Okay, fair enough. I'm surprised. I would have thought McCaffrey. Brandon really had a good year, Mr. Ayuk. He's a good player.
Christian McCaffrey was 77th overall with 564. Great year. He just didn't get a lot. He gets a lot of catches.
He's a running back.
Yeah.
I thought he had a lot more yards in the air. My bad.
Let's see. So George.
My bad naming Stephon Diggs too. I guess Diggs really had a down year if he was 13th or whatever. My goodness.
Maybe we should do that next time. Do like a blind rank where I'm gonna blind like, hey, I'm gonna give you a receiver, place them 1 through 5. So, all right. So,
I would be
we got a little side top track there, so I think we feel good about the Rams. We gave it our score. I said 30-20. So, any closing remarks from you, Danny Stone? Anything new articles you wrote? We should check out.
I feel good about it, but again, it could go either way. I mean, a lot of people are saying they expect the favored teams to win. I'm not so sure. We'll see what happens. I will tell you that probably the pick I'm most nervous about, I guess. I shouldn't have said I don't care earlier. I do care. It's just the Rams game really has me jazzed up. But the Bills could maybe blow out the Steelers. I just don't think that's going to happen. But you never know. But as far as articles that I'm working on, I've got a Lynx article coming out tomorrow, Random Ransom. I'll have another Random Ransom come out Saturday. But please, if you're out there and you hear this, feel free to check out the game thread on Sunday. I'll be doing the Rams-Lions game thread, as well as the post-game press conference, as well as the post-game, not a recap, but just a quick post-game final score. It's a bit of a recap. I've got tweets in there with the hot plays from both teams and a little bit of writing by me. But Sunday should be a busy day for me and for Rams fans alike. I mean, we're waiting all week for Sunday night.
Yeah. No, I love it. I am excited for the game. I don't know. I unfortunately have some other plans Saturday, possibly early Sunday. So I don't know if we watch the other playoff games. Still, if we watch the highlights, recaps, but nothing really. Yeah, I'm excited for the game. I think we talked about it a lot. I'm just excited. I really feel good about the Rams. So if they lose, I'll be very butthurt. I'm glad Monday's a holiday, so I have off and can cry all day if that happens. So we shall see.
I'll be bummed if they. But what a season, Sammy B. I know that you want to get going, and I don't blame you. I can't. But what a season they've had, really.
It
I
is
mean,
incredible. I can't
nobody
believe they
saw
made
it.
like you said. I can't believe they made the playoffs. So I can't believe they
Yeah,
won so many games. And while
yeah.
San Francisco versus the Rams was a battle of the backups, I mean, it stopped the streak. So I felt good.
Yep. Wentz was solid. I mean, there's so much that I think we can look back on and talk about in the off season. I mean, there's a lot of stuff for us to talk about, and there's a lot for us to look forward to. And I do hope. I know we took a bit of a break, but I'm hoping we can get back on it. And if the Rams can find a way to win Sunday night, we will have a lot of really fun stuff to talk about next week for sure.
Oof, we might have to do a game recap Sunday night, maybe Monday. I don't know if I can sleep
Yeah,
Sunday night. It'll be like a Super Bowl. I don't want to get too far
yeah.
ahead of myself. But I guess what it is I feel good about this round. It's the second round where I'm like, okay, let's be realistic. I'm a little scared. Niners or who would it be if we didn't play the
There's no
Niners?
guarantee they beat the Lions. I mean, there's no guarantee they beat the Lions at all. But you're right.
Mhm.
I think they can win this round, but I mean, how are they going to beat Dallas or the 49ers or even Green Bay? Um, yeah, I
No, you're
agree.
right. Good point. Nothing's ever guaranteed. I had Dallas, and it's a different sport. Dallas Mavericks winning the other day just to win. They were a 10-point favorite at home. They lost by 20. So nothing's ever guaranteed. If you're listening, remember that.
Nope.
Bet responsibly. We're not giving out real advice, just fun advice.
It's good advice. I Hey man, I appreciate it. This is always a good time. Go Rams, and I'll look forward to doing this again with you. And if their season ends, it's been a great season. I think other than you and I, nobody had them having a winning record. So boom.
Yeah. True. Watch that video. We had them winning. If the Rams lose,
We did.
Monday will be a video talking about baseball. We're on to baseball.
Yeah, absolutely. I called them sweeping Seattle too. I said they're going to sweep Seattle. I like
You did.
you and I actually you had some upsets. We called some games between the two of us. We really kind of predicted their season, except for we didn't. I didn't think they'd be 10-7. Wow. But I'll be excited to talk baseball with you. That I can get behind that.
It is crazy because the games I thought they would win, they didn't, and the games I thought they lost, it's like, man, I can't believe that happened. So, but yeah,
The
so
Bengals game still
yeah,
bugs me, and that Steelers game bugs
that's
me.
the
So
one
the,
because the
the
Steelers
two
one.
AFC North games bug me.
Yeah, because
The other ones.
sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. I was just so excited to bring it
You
out.
did.
Is that because it was about the backups? But yeah, if you change one of those games, like the Steelers, or maybe even Steelers and Bengals, that last game of the season would have been completely different. That probably would have been like the Sunday night game.
Yeah.
So I'm so excited. I'm sorry to cut you off. You were still talking when I started like jumping in.
Don't apologize at all, my bro. What I'll throw this out there too. Now we're kind of getting into it a little bit, but I'm glad that you say that because the reality of it is maybe I'm grateful they lost one of those games because honestly, Cooper Kupp, Stack Donald, Ernest Jones, those guys getting a week off. I know I'm missing a couple, but getting a whole week off,
Mm-hmm.
I think that's great for those guys. I don't anticipate them being rusty at all. I think they're going to come out ready to go. And I think had they had to play that last week, I think they would have been worn out. And I
Mm-hmm.
think it was great to see Carson Wentz in a Rams uniform looking pretty okay. I mean, even the interception didn't seem totally his fault. Didn't seem like a great throw, but it was off his receiver's hands, if I'm not mistaken. So, little give and take there.
I'll have to pull up my text messages. I was so excited. I was texting Danny Stone, and he's basically telling me to calm down. I was a little too excited about our Mr. Wentz because I wanted him. Honestly, I've always wanted a mobile
Yeah.
quarterback, so I wish they would have got him instead of Goff. But in hindsight, I'm glad that happened. I think it was the most passing yards, or sorry, most rush attempts by a Rams quarterback since 1950. Um, he finished with 18 or 19 rush attempts. Stafford has 21 all season. And the closing crazy one
Oh,
is
that's
he's now
incredible.
4-0 against the Niners. So I
And,
think,
and taking a knee counts as a rushing attempt, right?
yeah, yep. So I think next year, keep him as a backup, start him against the Niners because he is undefeated against them. Boom.
That's such a fun stat. I love that. And this too. I mean, when we recap the Rams season, I think this will probably be a better space to talk about it. But things really broke their way the last couple weeks. Seattle loses when they need to lose,
Mm-hmm.
and the Rams clinch a spot a week early. So you're right, like everything had to go the way it did for the Rams to basically be like, hey, we're going to rest our starters because the final week really doesn't have as much meaning as the following week does to
Mm-hmm.
us. And that really almost didn't go that way. So and I when they were 3-6, I thought we were wrong. I'm like thinking, man, how are they going to win 6 out of 7 games? And they did.
They did. They really did. And only
Or,
lost
or
was to Baltimore.
seven, and I guess they end up winning 7 out of 8 or whatever it is, because they were 3-6 and they wind up 10-7. So I guess they went 7-1 for after the bye week, which is that's incredible. I mean, it was really something to watch as a Rams fan, and it just gives you so much hope that this team wasn't just a one Super Bowl and done. I'm not saying they'll win the Super Bowl again. That's such a tall task, but to just be competitive again
Mm-hmm.
is
Feels
really
good.
it does. And I know we're not on the team, but it's validating. And again, you and I kind of, for whatever reason, had expectations for this team that maybe a lot of people didn't. And but they certainly surpassed our expectations. I'm not saying we saw this coming. We just didn't think they were. I thought Arizona was the worst team in the NFL. They weren't at all. They were fine. I
Yeah, I was
love
way
it.
off. I thought they'd go winless, but no, I think we're definitely in agreement. They're gonna have a great game. Shocked us. Um,
Yes.
I love everything you said. I still can't believe it. I was like, might be biased, or are they really this good? You know, they won, like you said, 7 of the last 8. The only loss was to Baltimore. You can't say like
Best.
it's a loss. I get that, but I'm like, the Baltimore stomped the Niners in San Francisco, and if you think about it, Niners stomped the Cowboys. So it's like, what's really going on here? I think we have a
Through
chance.
the power of transference. Yeah, I mean, the Cowboys stomped the Rams, but there were injuries, and that was probably their worst game of the year. They had like fumbled snap on spec teams. CeeDee Lamb's a monster. I'll throw this out there as far as like, oh, I guess I kind of lost my train of thought, but just as far as losing to the Ravens and it being a loss, I think I wrote at the time because I did the McVay postgame press conference, and he said it's okay to hurt right now. And I think if I'm not mistaken, that was the post game press conference that I might have had the most views on. And if I'm wrong, then my apologies. But uh, the the summation of it was, yeah, the Rams lost, but man, it was hard to come away from that game unimpressed. Like they looked great, other than obviously a couple key moments, but they played, and it was like, wow, this team really can compete, and that's
Mm-hmm.
a really exciting thing, and they were so close to winning that game. And I mean, if
Special
we
team.
see a Rams Ravens rematch in the Super Bowl, which is a long ways away, that would be really something. But one thing at a time, they got to beat Jared Goff and the Lions first, and I don't expect it to be easy, but I am picking them to win.
I think I looked it up earlier. I think Rams Ravens. I think it's plus 6,500 if I remember right. So I might even
There
lock
you
that in.
go. There you go.
No, I think it was a great episode. We're gonna wrap it up here. Definitely talked about our playoffs. I think we just mainly want to talk about the Rams. We include the other teams, but let's be real. We just want to talk about the Rams. I even changed
Yeah.
the headline here as you see to go Rams. So awesome. Well, from Danny Stone and SamMeeBee, thanks for tuning in to Gem Spitty Sports. So we apologize for the lack of videos. We had some stuff going on, but hopefully make another one Monday or even Sunday night. Do a little live stream. We'll figure it out. But thanks for
Yeah.
stopping and one love.
Love.